Hi guys, quick update here for Bitcoin. So stock market has broken above the 200. It's going to rotate back and fill for the next 3 weeks probably, and then continue to move higher. As it moves above the 200, everyone's going to start going long again, and there's going to be rotation from other assets into the stock market. No one really wants to hold other assets as the stock market's going vertical. Now, the question is, what is Bitcoin going to do? Well, the bullish count, use that term very, very loosely with this entire move from 8,000, is 1 into 7.423. But now this is now taking too long in terms of time. It needs to break out above here before the end of the month. Now, the problem with the monthly is that it's rejecting here and forming a bit of a doji, which you never want to see. Ideally, I want the monthly to close above this level of 9.2. Right now, it's rejecting of this upper line, and there's also this ascending line coming all the way from 2011, which we've marked out for quite some time. This line here, it needs to stay above this on the monthly. So we're going to know in the next, I would say in the next week, we're going to have a good idea where Bitcoin is going to go over the next couple of months. And certainly if it rejects from this line, stays below this line, stays below 92, well, that then sets up a situation where Bitcoin will then once again rotate around its VPOC for the next, probably until the US election, or till at least September, and the average price being 7,900, the VPOC being 8,000. So we could get between now and September just a rotation around the VPOC, so 1,000 either way. So Bitcoin to remain between 7 and 9 between the now and the US election as money moves into the stock market. And then sooner or later we're going to have to call a top on that stock market. I don't think we're there yet, but there will be clear signs of the topping process starting probably soon after the US election, to be honest. Assuming we get a top in Easter 21, usually topping processes start earlier, and then we may get a rotation back into Bitcoin. The other concern is we're sat below this volume node here, so a move down below here could be a very, very quick move down unless we reject off 8,000. Either way, this whole impulsive count is now getting slowly invalidated, only because this fall can't go on for too long. So that just means we're going to go sideways for the next couple of months, probably. So really, we're going to know one way or another in the next week or so. And really, it comes down to this monthly close. If the monthly close closes, let's say, 8.5, maybe 8.2 or less, then clearly everything's invalidated there to the long side. In which case, you have to probably regard this as an ABC, as all of this is some kind of corrective leg. A, B, C, and then we just rotate around, like I said, around this VPOC. Around the US election, however, if money or if a topping process starts to begin in the stock market, that money has to go somewhere. We know it's going to go into the US dollar and bonds, probably gold from, if nothing else, a sentiment perspective, and then maybe Bitcoin then gets the big move towards 20k. But certainly with the stock market yesterday breaking the 200 and Bitcoin Bitcoin was really following the stock market, which it really isn't. It should have broken out of it, which it isn't doing. So sideways for Bitcoin at best, like I said, rotating around this volume node, and then maybe we then have this big triangle, and then we get that big move once money comes out of the stock market. Now, what's most interesting really isn't about Bitcoin at all. It's all about the altcoins, because the altcoins right here are forming a fourth inside month candle. So we know these are powerful breakouts. The higher the time frame, the more powerful the breakout. I mean, that's pretty much, well, the month hasn't ended yet, so we can't really define the range yet. But that would be the inside candle from the last month. Now, if it closes as inside again, which looks as though it is going to be, we're going to get a huge move here. Now, there could be a fake out. There is often a fake out with these inside months because everyone's watching it. Could do fake out up, fake out down, then go up. Could do fake out up, then have a big move down. Could just have a genuine breakdown, or we could have a genuine breakdown, then go up, or just straight away out of here, go up. So with inside month candles, that you can get a bit of failures towards the top and the bottom, and that's just a bit of a shakeout. But really, this has been going on for quite some time, so I do expect some heavy breakout here. I mean, if you read this as the low, this as the one, it's already made a macro high relative to here. If that is a 1, that's a 2, that's a 1, another 2, or another 1 and then another 2, it would imply the breakout is going to be to the upside. And as Bitcoin consolidates, altcoins do tend to outperform. Now, if this does break to the upside, I mean, that is going to be a very big breakout. If not, obviously it's going to be a big breakout to the downside. So like I said, before the end of the month, we only really have 6 or 7 days. We're going to know the fate, I think, of Bitcoin for the next 3, maybe even 6 months, and really off the altcoins, depending on how this breaks. Because the altcoin count, I mean, let me just find it. I'm sure I've got it here. So the altcoin count is very much, if it's impulsive, we're going to have a major move here to 0.059, and the bearish count is that there's one more new low, then we go higher, as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you could read that as the 3, that as the 4, that as the 5. So this is the thing with Elliott wave. Sometimes you have you have two counts basically. So is this the low or is this the low? But taking away Elliott wave and taking away the count, the only thing I will say is it's been consolidating here now heavily for basically 4 months. So a big move is coming. Assume we don't get these failures, which I've spoken about. A 4-month consolidation inside below a descending trend line is a big deal. So we're hoping that's going to break to the upside. Now, XRP had something very similar about a year ago, but that obviously was in the midst of a sideways sort of range. A big move also happened. I believe it was here somewhere. We had a bit of a, that was a failure there, wasn't it? So that right there was a failure. How it's gone up and then come back down. It's failed and then come back down again. But the difference is Ethereum BTC is now really, it's been going down for about 3 years basically. So definitely want to watch here, Ethereum BTC. And then just the last thing would be 100 minus. Well, let's just get it up here. It's going to be easier. If you just check the altcoin dominance, that in itself is forming some interesting levels here. So that level would be here. The level which I'm watching is here, and right now it's formed a wick and it's staying above this level here of 3207, which is also the VPOC. So really next month we're going to know everything, I think. In the next week basically we're going to know the fate of the altcoins. Which way are they going to break? Are they going to continue to consolidate and then move higher towards winter as they do typically, or are the altcoins going to come out of here and linked to that Bitcoin just go down and rotate around 8,000, and this forms basically a bearish sort of monthly higher time frame close? So really we're going to know everything in the next week or so. There's not much else to add, but yeah, this whole following the stock market, the last hope for Bitcoin was that the stock market breaks the 200, but really it's quite lackluster price action, and you never want to see 7 red candles in a row. I believe it was 7. That's not really the signs of a healthy bull market, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 red candles in a row. I can't really recall that ever happening. Maybe once or twice here, but all of that was in the midst of a bear market as well, and it is still a lower macro high. So that would be the plan for Bitcoin. Really, it depends on how this month closes. Obviously, if this is still some kind of 4 relative to this sort of 2 around here, then we should move higher, but it has to be before the end of the month. If that doesn't happen and the higher time frame closes bearish, that then sets up a move to basically rotate around this 7, 9, 8,000 POC for the next 3 to 6 months probably. If not, 3 months at least to get you to September. So that's just something to have a look at there, because we like to figure out the more longer term count, because that is very, very important. If stock market's going parabolic, this is why we cover the Nasdaq, and we have been doing so over the last 6 weeks and gotten at the lows. And yeah, Ethereum BTC definitely want to watch. So we're going to know one way or the other here pretty soon, and As for the stock market, I mean, has the Nasdaq broken 10k yet? Let's have a look. Not even keeping track because it's such an obvious move. Yeah, we're at 9457. So what are we saying? 14k. Let me just put an alert there. Let's put an alert there at 13.5. Make sure, you know, first in, first out. Anyway, I'll wrap it up there.